Yo, 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 what up, what up? Good morning, GMG. Woo! Monday. Oh, yeah. Monday, September 23rd, 2024. Look at that. Another beautiful day to have a beautiful day. I got my co-host in the house, Tyler. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Has some green candles. This weekend, majors are up. We've got ordinals up. Some memes are up. And we're building some momentum. And you know what? October is coming.
Dude, October is coming. Now to see, how September ends. So this week should be an interesting one. But one thing's for sure is that October is right around the corner. Woo! You absolutely love to see that. Mando, how you doing today?
Hey, boys. How are you?
You good?
Yeah, great.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. I like this color on you, Mando. You should wear more like bright, different colors. I like it.
Yeah.
Compliments the skin tone. Yes, sir. I like the olive green. It's nice. I'm used to watching you just wear navy blue or black.
Blue guy.
That's true. It's true, right? It's like your thing. It's like your color. It's your color. Anyways, today on the show today, what do we got? Obviously, weekend recap. We'll talk about this weekend. Prices seem to be pretty interesting over the weekend. We opened pretty strong, so I'm sure we'll get into the market side of things as we close this week of September. Tyler's top 100. I mean, let's see what Tyler's going to store for us. But there's been a lot going on at all times, so it's you absolutely love to see that. I'm sure he's got a lot to cover. We're back with the Arbitrum weekly roundup, if I'm not mistaken, every Monday. So a little roundup of what's happening in the Arbitrum ecosystem. And then last but not least, this show is powered by Galaxis, a no-code Web3 platform that empowers creators and communities to become owners. Check them out, Galaxis XYZ on X. It's right down there on the stream on video if you're watching on video. And as a reminder, we are live on video all the time, every week, every day, 5 days a week. You absolutely love to see it. Yeah, green shirt means green week. That's for sure. But anyways, without further ado, let's hear all about this market. I should move where I put my buttons so they are easier to access. I always forget. I have like 3 screens. There you go.
Who is the man, macro daddy of the land? Can you dig it?
GM, everyone. So feels like decent weekend, if I'm honest. Interestingly, Bitcoin's kind of where we left it, around 63K, maybe slightly higher. But the main rally has happened in a bunch of different altcoins and in ETH. ETH has been outperforming. This is kind of what we kind of flagged on Friday, actually, that I told you I'd bought some for the first time in a long time. Just looks like it'd broken out a little bit there and was in a decent spot versus Bitcoin and versus Solana just on the charts. Just felt like it finally broken out of its downtrend a little bit. So ETH is now 2650, so I think that's up about 4% since we were talking, and then maybe even slightly higher. And then I think Solana is actually a little bit lower even. I think Solana's down about 1 or 2%. Nothing crazy, but obviously there was a lot of bullishness around Breakpoint, all the announcements there around Fire Dancer and a bunch of different integrations of the different apps. But we've just sold off slightly since then. In terms of narratives, which have been pretty strong. So meme coins are still doing okay. I would say the strongest narrative since Breakpoint, or even going into Breakpoint, has been AI, and a bunch of the different AI coins have come back pretty strong. The strongest has been this coin Tau Bitensa, which seemingly was like the number one narrative that came out of token 2049. A lot of people getting bullish back again about this.
Oh wow.
It's done about a 2x in about 2.5 weeks. It's going back up towards its all-time high. So decent move. Kind of rallied initially after the whole NVIDIA results, and we saw a bunch of different AI coins rally, but then Tau has really dominated the rest of that rally. It's an L1. It essentially works by allowing different GPUs to solve problems on its subnets and rewards the best answer for any sort of question. So the way it works with AI is that it's meant to improve the training data given to AI by basically rewarding the ones with the best answers. So it has its own like LLM, it has its own image generator. I think there's one called like Reply Tensor, which has been pretty big, which you can use on X. But seemingly they're saying like this is a way to improve how AI trains itself rather than it being locked in with like big tech like Google or OpenAI or Microsoft. This is like an open source decentralized way to reward different AI models. I don't know about that. Like, this is me trying to understand it. I would tell you 95% of people who are looking at this thing have no idea what it is. So
yeah, I don't know what the token does either. I just know it's popular.
It's built like the Bitcoin token. So Bit is because it's Bitcoin. It's only, I think there's only 21 million, and it's got a halving cycle like all the other Bitcoin style tokens. And the idea is just it's meant to reward these different AI subnets based on the quality of the answers that they give. And how is that rewarded? They have a bunch of validators which basically pick the best answer, so to speak. So a problem will be given, a bunch of different subnets will a bunch of different AI models will compete against it. The one who wins gets rewarded in Tau. So I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know, but there's been some movement here for like open source AI models. Facebook's been going down that route with its Llama model, for example. And this is just another attempt at that, essentially, by providing some sort of infrastructure with which to reward different AI, competing AI models, essentially. Now, I don't think anyone big is really using it right now. Like, I don't think you're seeing crazy amounts of uses by different people, but there is legitimate things being built in it. Like, they have their own LLM, they have their own image generator. Like, you can use it, but it's now a $10 billion FTV. It's $4 billion current market cap. I just don't even know, but I think it's worth taking a look at. It's something that I actually thought was complete garbage up until a week ago, because everyone was mentioning it after Token 2049. And the part of the reason I thought it was complete garbage is because I thought nothing was really being built on it at all. I've seen a little bit of like maybe things get built in here. It's going to require a lot of hope, I would say, that people are going to continue to want to build like AI models on the back of it. But there is a story, at least there, that people can pump for sure. Like, you know what I mean? But it's interesting to see how the market is with memes, but it's starting to move back into other stuff, I think, pretty quickly. You've seen DeFi pump, you've seen Deepin do well, and now this AI stuff has really come back. And Tau is something that I think I would be very unsurprised, whether you believe it's anything or not. I think it could continue to rally here. Just my guess. So that's been the number one performer of the weekend. You saw, like I said, meme coins have had an okay bounce, but mainly it's been ETH. ETH meme coins as well have been ripping. Nero hit 500 million. That CTO hit 500 million, which I think is absolutely insane. There's been a bunch of newer memes even on ETH, which have been running. So interesting to see some of that activity move back to ETH. You saw SUI continue to be very, very strong. I think it hit 1.6 over the weekend. So that was up like 60% in the last 2 weeks again. Like, we've been flagging it all the way up. It's broken above, I think, 900 million TVL. Personally, like, I don't feel FOMO at 1.6. Let's put it that way. 16 billion. There's some stuff going on SUI. I wouldn't say like there's a crazy amount going on SUI. I think it only has like a very, very small amount of ecosystem coins.
I saw someone tweet that there was 3, right? You probably saw the same tweet as me.
I mean, it has more than 3. It has more than 3. but it doesn't have that many. Like if you just type into Google SUI ecosystem coins, you're presented with a very, very small amount. And the majority of the TVL on SUI is actually SUI itself. It's not really stable coins, although they did get USDC on the chain. So at 15 billion or 16 billion, whatever it is, I think it's a bit more of a show me story. Like Ton, for example, which has millions of different users, is at 26-ish,
Right.
25-ish. And I don't know if SUI flips Ton, let's put it that way. So, and then, yeah, Tau, I think is just like it reminds you of the altcoin cycles of old. You know, it doesn't really matter what it is. It's a dream that could be something.
Oh, dream sell.
It's
Dream
not a complete scam coin, in my opinion, but there's not like a crazy amount going on there. It's more like a dream that AI will adopt this framework with which to improve firstly their data use, but also the quality of the LLMs and the AI models. So let's see. All
right. Well, we'll see that. I mean, Tyler, you got some Tau or what?
I had some a long time ago. I think Mando summarizes it pretty well. I'm pretty aligned. I feel like people love the narrative of crypto XI, the intersection of AI and crypto. It's a very sexy story right now. It feels more of like a narrative than it is pure substance for me. I still think, like betting on the actual major devs and companies building AI, I don't really see how it necessarily translates to being bullish for Tau. I think the most likely future is that we do have millions of AI agents interacting with crypto, but I think it's probably on just cheap blockchains using like stable coins is the most likely outcome. And I don't necessarily know that it translates to other AI coins pumping. So I'm not bearish because I think the narrative is probably strong enough, but it's not one that I'm super hyped to jump in on right here.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens on the macros front this week. But Mando, looks like a lot of the overhang is kind of done, right? Like we're ready to, like we got 50 bips when most people were pricing 25 bips. You know, we've already had the CPI and all these numbers. Like it's looking like smooth sailing ahead, or am I? Because I don't see many different catalysts, right? Like that could
for us to go lower.
Yeah.
I think I've said before. I think the main thing here is the election now.
Yeah.
But I think even you saw Kamala say some comments over the weekend about being a bit more pro crypto, at least less anti crypto, let's say. And who knows if you believe her? But I think we rally in either scenario post election. I really do. I think what you've seen now, again, we have above 50% odds that the next rate cut will also be 50 bips. So people are now starting to price in pretty aggressive cuts. You've seen the dollar actually. Some the reason why everything's also hitting all-time highs is because the dollar's actually gone quite a lot weaker versus a bunch of different currencies. The yen, the sterling, euro, dollars in like a multi-month low right now. If you bring up like a Dixie chart. And that's part of the reason why you've seen all these assets rally as well. So part of this is dollar weakness, just to let everyone know, really. So, and that's because rates, they're really talking down rates at the moment. So for me, it's a positive macro setup. The economic figures last week didn't seem so bad. This week we have core PCE on Friday, which will be another inflation figure. I think we've got GDP this week. It'll be interesting to see that doesn't fall off a cliff, or that stays strong. But if that comes in strong, we'll really rally.
Yeah, you gotta love this market. I mean, we are pumping right now. So
should we be concerned that Sol isn't rallying harder? Now the breakpoint pump is.
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, it's rallying as we speak. You should see the candle on Solana. So is the entire market.
I've been pretty public about me moving back into Bitcoin because I think the L1 trades just become more competitive. I do think it's interesting. It's interesting, although altcoins are ripping right now. Like, go to your top 100 and look at the last 7 days, or even the last 30 days. this is an altcoin rally, which Solana has not really participated in. It's kind of been pretty stagnant. But if you go down that list, the vast majority of them have rallied back very, very strongly. And you're starting to see a lot of people over the weekend was talking about altcoin cycle. There was a few different things on the outside top 10 others index, which flashed a buy signal. You have a lot of these not meme coin, but let's say utility narratives coming back. So like I just said, DeFi, Aave's at a 2.5-year high. Like that's probably the best known DeFi coin that's broken out pretty substantially versus a lot of different things. You have Tau leading AI, and like a lot of those coins are also pumping. You have Deepin, you have Helium, often in the top performers. So you're starting to see some of these altcoin rallies. You know, the sort of things that you used to watch YouTube videos about of like random altcoin. Like,
all right, let me go see what Professor Crypto is talking about today.
Some of those sectors are coming back. The meme coin sector, although it's still there, and you have Popcat, going for $1 billion again today, and you have Nero just going to 500 million. What you're seeing is a more broad-based altcoin rally here for the first time in a long, long time. And ETH is the only L1. It's not the only L1, but ETH is performing the best, which I think is very interesting. A lot of the time, an ETH rally is associated with an altcoin rally.
All right. Well, let's see where this takes us. But definitely the market's looking great here with ETH at 26, 27. Bitcoin 63.7 and Solana 145. So, I think honestly, it's just being comfy in all three of those is just like the best thing anyone can do. I don't worry. I don't know. I look at all three of them. I'm like, I genuinely believe, of course, NFADYR that all three of them will be much higher by this time in 6 months. So you could probably close your eyes and buy any of them. Probably going to be good, right? They literally pump together. So it's been good.
I don't think they do. That's the point. I've said this several times. I think the L1 trade is really, really dangerous. So I don't think necessarily just sit back and forget these things. Be very cognizant of when one coin is outperforming another. Like if you'd said that with ETH this cycle, you've been absolutely destroyed. True. Absolutely. I think with Bitcoin rallies, most other things rally, but like be wary. I would pay attention on Solana here, trade, even though I have quite a lot of Solana bags. Like pay attention. Other things are rallying. Solana isn't. Pay attention. Just like if ETH was getting battered this time last year, just don't be a maxi of anything. Like things can really shift. Like everyone just faded SUI and it just went up 60%. It actually did like a 3.5x in a month and a half, right? Like I think now it's time to pay attention to some of these things, in my opinion. Yeah, fair enough. I guess we'll see. But here you go. These are charts. So we'll let's see where Bitcoin goes tomorrow, but it's looking like it's going to be a fun week. It's good. It's looking at man. You got someone asking, so long or short now. I think shorting anything will lead to like maximum pain. I wouldn't short anything. Yeah, I'm not saying Sol's not going higher because I think Bitcoin's going to like 90 to 100K by year end. I think Trump gets in. That's my gut, and that goes higher on the back of that too. I wouldn't short shit. But I'd be very cognizant of when one L1 is not performing because it's so competitive there. Yeah, 100%. All right, well, Tyler. For daily NFT and crypto analysis, Tyler D on Fomo hour calls the kid can't miss.
Ready to bash some bears. All right, our top story, somewhat controversial. Kamala Harris came out and promised to help grow AI and digital assets at a Wall Street fundraiser, to some very mixed reactions from most of crypto Twitter. We'll get into that in a bit. BNY Mellon was given approval to custody Bitcoin. They're the first major bank to receive that ability. It stems from an exemption from the SAB 121. The SEC also approved options on BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF. So now an options product will be available for that ETF. And then Coinbase announced plans to bring CBBTC, its Rats Bitcoin product, to Solana. So that was a nice headline for Solana. In other Solana news, Firedancer did go live on Solana mainnet over the weekend. The team also shared plans for a new internet fiber layer to make the internet faster. So they, not only do they want to make Solana faster, they want to make the entire internet faster. Shout out to them. Magic Eden, surprise announcement, 180. They're switching to optional royalties ahead of the upcoming Emmy token launch. This comes almost a year after they switched to royalty enforcement. Layer Zero shared the zero claim period ended, but there are additional unclaimed tokens for certain eligible users. So go check that out. If you are in the Zero ecosystem, Army, formerly Pacmoon, announced a community takeover with the original team stepping away. The price initially pumped, but then did sell off shortly after. And then Hamster Combat, the big Telegram game, they shared new details for their upcoming Hamster token airdrop coming this Thursday, September 26th. Going to, get this, 131 million eligible wallets on that airdrop list. So good luck there. In memes, meme coin majors did mostly chop, but Mudang soared to $50 million after being featured in a Beeple every day. I think it's closer to 40 million now. We saw Mumu. Shout out to Mumu. We talk about them on the show quite a bit. They jumped 50% after a Bybit listing. And then Binance Nero hitting 500 million. Definitely one of the top performers of the weekend. We saw Iggy Azalea share plans for a new online casino, Motherland, along with her upcoming Dream Vault product amidst what I'll describe as a raucous party at Breakpoint, which is also all over the timeline. AI coins had a huge weekend as well. Then Ordinals are pumping.
Are we back?
In the leading NFTs here over the weekend.
Are we back is the question.
Ordinals look like they might be back.
Dude, that was a nice pump on Ordinals. Love to see that. Question for you, and then I'm going to move forward because I know there's a few topics that I want to hit on that you talked about. What's up with pups? They moved to Solana. Like, how do I do that? I don't get it.
Pups?
Yeah. Did they move to Solana? Like, what's going on with that?
Well, so they originally moved to Solana, and that's what caused that first major parabola up. But then they did when they launched the Ordinals token, there was the token split. I think it was 100 to 1. That didn't impact the Solana token. So that Solana token became effectively untradeable because it didn't have the extra 100 to 1 split. Okay. So what they did is they opened up effectively like 100 to 1 conversion for the Solana token as well to make it effectively tradable again.
So you're supposed to keep it on Bitcoin or on Solana? I'm so confused.
I've kept all mine on Bitcoin. This is I never actually bridged.
Okay.
I don't really know. There's a strong reason to. Okay, cool. Bridge,
I just thought I missed something. I thought it was a deadline to move out of Bitcoin. I thought they were completely moving out, but that's my bad then. It looks like okay, cool. I mean, hopefully, we're gonna pump, right?
Winston go nuts. Really, they're kind of just hanging out. This $1 million cat rebounding a bit. I mean, the dog's holding at 250 million. It's not bad.
Yeah, that one's really that one is extremely strong. But anyway, so talk to me about Kamala Harris. They're saying that they want to support digital assets, but I didn't hear a plan. So I was looking for it before the show so we can talk about it. But like, what part of it was that? Because you said crypto, but I don't think they talked about crypto, did they?
Not specifically. So I mean, this is a lighter headline. So the reason it was a big deal, I think this is the first time she has made any even crypto related remarks since she's been on the campaign trail. Her exact words, I'm quoting, "We will encourage innovative technologies like AI and digital assets while protecting consumers, and investors will create a safe business environment with consistent and transparent rules of the road." That was at a Wall Street fundraiser here yesterday. This did come somewhat notably after Anthony Scaramucci, he was speaking at Token 2049. He says he has been working with the Harris campaign to help them develop crypto policy. With that being said, we don't know what the policy is. It certainly has not been published. I think that's one of the differences between the two parties. In the Republican platform, crypto is specifically called out. It is not specifically called out in the Democratic platform, which I think has led to some of the questions. And it's also why folks aren't really believing that Kamala's words here. And everyone keeps coming back to actions speak louder than words. And the SEC certainly still kind of going after a lot of crypto companies right now. Hey, Nabs, he came out and spoke out. He's the one probably going the most viral. He didn't really like. I think some people called it like an endorsement. I mean, all he did was retweet a post about it and said, I mean, that she's going to encourage these things and that it's a positive outcome. And he goes on to clarify that he agrees that Biden has been terrible for crypto and tech. She's signaling that she's going to approach it differently. Fine if you don't believe it, but he's basically saying like, why not extend the olive branch? So I'm on his side. I got to be honest on this one. I don't see the point in being super combative. I think it's fine to be
stupid. Being combative is stupid, but I do think he's being a little soft here. Like he's really Like if you look at his replies, he's like, "Oh, but I didn't say that." Oh, but every time someone says, "Oh, they've been pretty bad for crypto," he goes, "Oh, I agree." But it's like digital assets doesn't mean crypto, by the way. She didn't say crypto. She said digital assets.
Right.
Back
But I think digital assets is like a synonym at this point, right? Like, well, and that's what I think about.
but why doesn't she?
Maybe you think crypto's a negative word.
Well, but it shouldn't be,
I would agree.
right? Like
But
I think it's their job on both sides, Republican, Democrats, to make the word crypto not sound like it's like a criminal activity. No, I just
is that their job?
Pardon?
I don't know if that's their
I mean,
job.
the sure made it their job to make sound like we're criminals in the space. So if they could undo that, it'd be great. Like, trust me, I've done a lot of interviews last week, and all of them think that crypto is criminals.
Yes, I agree with that.
And I've had to like check a few reporters on that actually.
I mean, that jives with this when I talk to people in general, right? I think that's what the average person thinks.
I think he caught a lot of flack because they're literally suing him.
Right.
Right.
Well, I think that's what gives more weight to his statements.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone could be like angry and combative, like it could be him. And he's like, maybe he just doesn't want to be sued for the next 4 years. He actually wants to get past this. And I don't really care about the opinions of people commenting who've got no skin in the game. Like I certainly understand.
Yeah, if someone has no skin in the game, fuck them.
But I understand people who say, we need to see it. But at the same time, like let's just put this out there. Like we're gonna argue about this for the next 50 days.
Exactly.
She's not going to do anything. Like it's still Biden's administration. She's busy campaigning to be president. She's not sitting down trying to meet Gary Gensler and make crypto policy changes in the next 50 days.
No, absolutely not. You know what though? This is a good comment though here. Like digital assets does not equal crypto. CBDCs are digital assets. Like that's my only thing was like, I want to hear the word crypto. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That we're buying, right? Like Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is. Do you see Bitcoin as digital asset? Maybe NFTs are digital assets.
I think it's a digital asset. Yes. I can see the argument that digital assets are wider than just crypto.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. I mean,
I don't get hung up on the words.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind it was not on their platform, which you and I covered back then. But we'll maybe they adjust. Maybe they adjust. I mean, maybe the louder Trump gets on that, maybe they'll want to say, "Hey, fuck it," like we're gonna start doing the same thing, right?
Yeah, and the red guy's making him be louder, so he got his questions out there.
I saw that
at Mar-a-Lago. So
no, it was in the golf course.
Oh, okay.
That was at Jupiter.
Interesting.
This event was in Jupiter at the golf course. I'm assuming it's easy. Mar-a-Lago's under construction right now. It was a lot of construction off season. It was like, it was actually a lot of, it was just a bunch of shit going on there right now. Did you know West Palm Beach doesn't open until November? Like the whole ass city, like on Sundays, like everything was closed.
I did not know that.
So everything was closed.
It's too hot. No one's there.
Everything was closed on Sunday because the snowbird season doesn't start until November. Like even Mar-a-Lago was closed. And it opens until November because, all my people from Quebec, they go down to snowbirds. So it's funny. It's a thing. Like all the older people in Quebec go down to Florida. It's all Canadians. It's all Canadians, all Quebec people. Like it's you can hear people speak French all over Florida from like November to April to March or something. It's so cold here. But Tyler, what else? There was another big headline in there that you talked about. Was it Fire Dancer? But we covered a bit, but that was mainnet.
Yeah, so I think Friday we spent a good time debriefing on Breakpoint, but as of Friday, Fire Dancer was just on testnet. So they did subsequently come out and say yes live on mainnet. So I think that was the biggest news that broke out of Breakpoint since we did the show on Friday.
Yeah.
And then it seems like, folks kind of had some fun, rounded out a little bit of partying, perhaps sponsored by Iggy Azalea before the conference ended.
Oh my God, bro.
It was all over the timeline.
Jesus Christ. The timeline's losing their minds, bro. Like, I don't know. I think there's like so many bigger fish to fry and big problems to have in the space. And people are like arguing about what's good or bad for the space. You know what I mean? I'm assuming you're the type of guy who can't be bothered with this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the nonsense. Like we're about to head into Q4. We think it's, historically it's been up only for crypto prices. Future is bright. There's a lot of very positive macro things, and this is what people are spending their time talking about. And I think it's a bad look for crypto Twitter. So I think we talked about this a little bit offline, coming out of your Trump interview last week. Is like, this is a great onboarding opportunity. Like you've got the receipts, folks who want to get into crypto but don't know how to do it. Well, guess what? Like crypto Twitter is just talking about Iggy Azalea stripper parties and not talking about anything else. Like that's not the most welcoming onboarding environment. And I think what Eric Trump said, like it's not the most hospitable industry. I don't think it's very hospitable right now at all. I think that is something that like we can all.
Oh, that was an interesting. I have the interview of that. I should post that. I thought his comment was interesting about hospitality in crypto and how crypto should be more hospitable. By the way, that's despite anyone's political opinions. That was not a political statement they made. It was just like, hey, like, it's just from a hospitality standpoint. At a hotel, we make sure you never carry your bag from the door to the room to the this to the that. And then crypto should be more hospitable. I was talking to someone at a major crypto company. I don't want to name who, but company a few weeks ago in Korea, and they were saying it takes like X amount of clicks to be able to create an account. And it's like 30 clicks. And I was like, it shouldn't take 30 clicks to make an account with said company. It should take like 2 clicks. And then they're up and going. So yeah, there's still a lot of friction, but hopefully, honestly, I mean, the thing is I'm always positive, so obviously it's tough for people. I do think like we're getting to that point where like we understand, we acknowledge that, and a lot of teams are actually solving for it. So it seems like we're doing better on that front, right? Like I know you're about to talk about Magic Eden, for example, because it was quite a big headline, but like they've made their own wallet, and this, and like they're making it easy and more seamless to like buy shit, right? So it's like I think that's what we're focused on.
Yeah, and I'm still bullish and optimistic. I think a lot of we have plenty of builders who are trying to tackle the usability issue. Like I don't think it's a surprise or something that's not known. Crypto has historically not been very usable, user friendly. The onboarding has been terrible. It's getting better, and like we're seeing the mobile first focus. That was one of the takeaways from Breakpoint. We've got Pacmoon and Blast. Whatever you think about Blast, I mean, at least he's going all in, trying to do like the full mobile stack, which is a good vision, right? And we've got the team at Abstract doing similar. So clearly there is a lot of focus on. And guess what? It's definitely better than it was 3 years ago.
Well, what happens if say the Solana phone becomes extremely successful? It actually becomes a better phone, like hardware wise, everything starts popping off the app. Or what happens if like SUI's Game Boy, like they have a Game Boy thingy that they announced months ago, works out? What happens if some developer on Ethereum built something that will be used, like mass adopted, etc. So I think we're pretty close to it, dude. Honestly, it's just gonna take a little bit of time, but we're definitely getting to that point where I think crypto's gonna be more adopted through actual stuff that people actually want to use. Anyways, so what else you got in here? I mean, we could talk about the board Piocco and Magic Eden stuff, but it seems to have pissed off a lot of people on the timeline. But don't you think it's like it was bound to happen at this stage? Like, we still having the conversation? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm ultimately fine with it. I think it might piss people off because I was actually going back through my old newsletters. So I wrote this up last November. So they made news last November, and it was Magic Eden and Yuga, Bored Apes. They teamed up to launch royalty enforced NFTs on Ethereum. That's kind of how Magic Eden made their debut for ETH NFTs. And it was kind of hand in hand with Yuga. And this was the move away from Blur, because Blur was still the dominant player at that point in time, in November 2023, and had lion's share of the market. And now Magic Eden has made tremendous gains. Like they've got the lion's share of the market, or at least a majority. And now they're kind of going back just on their word 10 months later, and like hand in hand, they're both flipping. So Yuga, they're going to optional royalties, and then Magic Eden is also here. They're saying, we've heard your feedback. We're enabling optional royalties on our chains. So like they're kind of like pushing it to like, oh, we're in response to the community. I don't know. I guess I haven't seen a whole lot of chatter from the communities like just demanding optional royalties at this point in time. I feel like I haven't heard much out of that discussion in months.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, NFTs in general haven't really done really well. So it's not like royalties have been pretty high. I mean, look, I'm always been pro royalty, always was. We were some of the last people on the front lines of that, defending them on this very show with Ovi and Mando when the OpenSea founders came on, which after that, they hated me for life, which is okay. They were really pissed about that show, by the way. Anyways, we're a year later, right? I can say it. I think they unfollowed us and stopped talking to us and didn't want to do anything ever. We'll agree to it again. But it was funny. Anyways, as much as I believe creator royalties is what lit up the space, we heard your feedback along with Magic Eden and believe that this is the right move. This change in tune look like, I don't know, feels like a dried out conversation at this stage.
Yeah, that's one of my takeaways. Hopefully this is just the end.
Yeah, it's
we can move forward.
Yeah. Also, then you make the mistake of you're putting art and PFP collections that are more like meme coins than art in the same basket, and then you know what I mean? Like, I want my boys to he sells art to get his royalties. And as a matter of fact, guess what? Collectors, the art collectors, pay their royalties usually after the fact. Even if they do a private sale, very often they'll like send money to someone, or like, I don't know. Even now, like all the OT, like you saw Super Rares doing private sales. There's a Lost Robbie that sold for 200 ETH, but Super Rares on the private sale business. You have Fountain, and then you have this new huge platform. By the way, we should get Roger Dickerman at some point, maybe this week. Let's do an art up, because it's a fuck ton happening in the art world of crypto right now. Did you see the new platform that's backed by the guy who sold the Salvador Mundi for $450 million?
I saw the headline, but I have not dug into it.
The guy who sold, the people who sold the Salvador Mundi for $450 million launched a platform for crypto art, which is mega news. So we'll do a roundup for the art side of things. And there's a lot of big sales happening, X copies. So the thing is, like, with like the crypto art specifically, the royalties being taken care of. But I don't know. It's like, I get it. It's just a completely different conversation that's happening now versus before. So, and also, like, I feel like, look, we're never gonna get NFTs 2021 back again, right? So it's like, and then Ordinals showed that like the royalty thing is like Ordinals came in and said pretty much like, fuck this. There's no royalties for Ordinals, right? So speaking of which, Tyler, I saw that in your top, but wow, some green across the board here.
Yeah, let's go through it. So Node Monkeys at 0.187. They're up like 80. So they're at 0.1 maybe a couple weeks ago. So they're up 80%. Puppets back over 0.1. They're at 0.11. OMB's up 19%. It's interesting. So Qualmcats have moved a little bit. They actually weren't up much this morning. So they're up back to a quarter Bitcoin. So they've moved less, but they weren't hit as hard in the downturn. So they were the most stable of any, the clear leader in floor price. But now by market cap, I mean, Node Monkeys are clearly the number one, because there's 10,000 of them. What is 0.2 Bitcoin? That's roughly, was that like 4.5 ETH, 5 ETH? I'm trying to figure out where
you
these
had an ETH. Okay, so it's 12.6K. ETH is 2,650. It's 475.
Yeah. So this is kind of a notch below Azuki then on floor price.
Azuki, here you go. Yeah, it is 1 ETH under Azuki, so it's about $2,600 less than the Azuki. It's half of a penguin. So the Node Monkeys, so the biggest collection technically. No, I guess half. Yeah, I mean, to me that means that there's so much upside on Ordinals still.
You feel like there is upside on Ordinals. That's your take. Yeah. I just feel that way too. I think we were kind of waiting for the bottom. It seems like the bottom probably is behind us.
Yeah.
What's more promising is the volume is coming back.
Volume's coming back.
Node Monkeys are at 14 Bitcoin volume. That's almost $1 million.
I was never worried about my puppets bag. Not gonna lie, I held every single one of them. And I even when it was 0.08, 0.07, whatever, it's like the thing is for me, like, it's the same thesis that I had in 21 with like some of my ETH NFTs. Like, well, in the run when ETH goes up, like the major collections go up, and like, the Fantastic Four of Bitcoin is like what? Puppets, Monkeys, OMB, and Quantum Cats, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I think, and I think Udi even seems to agree, right? I think he had made a post about this a while back. Was it Udi? I think Udi talked about this, right?
I think so.
And so And now this morning I look it up. Every single major collection is up the same 20 points, monkeys, puppets, and the OMB, and just confirms my thesis with Bitcoin being up, right? So it's like it's a good I wouldn't be surprised, for example. I'm not saying, yeah, sure, like my Moon Boy math was like 2.5 Bitcoin per puppet. That doesn't mean that's gonna happen, but like, will we go back to 0.4 Bitcoin per puppet at like 75K Bitcoin? I mean, I don't.
It'd be a nice outcome.
I don't. That would be, of course. By the way, fully backed bias. Got a bag of them, but I do think there's a possibility. I don't think it's out of like. Okay, think about this: a quarter of a Bitcoin per puppet. Do you think that's possible? It's another 2x from here. So there you go, right? But Bitcoin's not going to go much lower from here, right? So it's with Bitcoin being up. So let's say Bitcoin's at like 75K. You could see puppets keep going forward, and that's what happened the first run to 74K. Like puppets, OMB, and when I say puppets, I mean really the Fantastic Four, like top 4 collections.
Mm-hmm.
We're all grinding up with it. And it's always the node monkeys. So node monkeys are kind of the, like when node monkeys go up, like puppets have been following that. It's kind of the Bitcoin of Bitcoin, right? I don't know how to put it the other way, but it's good to see.
I will say the only thing that gives me some pause is, so we know that the Magic Eden airdrop is coming. So like how much of this is farmer driven? And then like the floor listings are thick. Like
are they?
Listers are using 4 and 5 decimal points to like, edge each other out right now. And so like a sweep of 10 or 15 really doesn't move the needle on these. It's like that's the only thing that's like giving me a little bit of pause. And I feel like that was what was different perhaps of the rally back in Q1. And that's probably why we saw a little bit more violent movement. And I'm talking about Node Monkey specifically. I haven't been as close to the puppet's floor.
It's not bad, actually. It's not that bad. But yeah, it definitely takes it was going to take a lot of volume to move these markets, though. You know what I mean? I see what you mean.
So we talked about the bull case. The bear case also, I don't see any node monkeys or puppets on the timeline much at all these days. Like the folks who had their PFPs switched to puppets, like I feel like they switched them back, or they're just not as loud.
Look, these red guy around, these red guy have their puppets, right? These, there you go. Okay, as long as these two.
Is these still got his puppet up?
Yes. He moved back.
Yeah.
After that punk sale. He was like, fuck this. He's so funny. But yeah, he moved back. Yeah, D's and TG still on the puppet wave, you know. That one was Sobi, but Sobi moved to his D God. Anyway, Sobi's washed. I'm kidding. I love you, Sobi. I love you, Sobi. All right. Well, that's that on that front. Anything major that I missed before we move on to our Arbitrum update, Tyler?
Yeah, I think that was it. Our Army announced their CTO.
And saw that.
It's kind of a sad story. I don't know. We really need to get into it.
I mean, we can. I think it sucks. It's just I know a lot of people have a lot of money in this one, so I think it's kind of blows.
Well, yes, they did. A lot of people like just round trip bags that were given to them. So I was given large amount of tokens just from the initial Pacmoon creator program, and I was holding and it was doing well. I could hit 60 million market cap at 180 FTV at peak. It was interesting to see Bobby's thoughts here. So he kind of shared the note on like their exits. The team is left effectively. He felt that they were fighting an uphill battle on Blast. That Blast wasn't really giving enough incentives to people to hold tokens, which I don't know. Pacmoon was like the number 1 lottery winner, or on the Blast lotto wheel. So I don't know if you can really make that argument. He goes on to say how Elon, the Twitter change kind of destroyed their social fi component, which yes, that did.
That's true. But the thing is also you're trying to build a company on somebody else's API, right?
Right. So yeah, that one, but I feel like they moved past that. He goes on to say that he thought that Pac was likely going to bleed to zero with the in line with the Blast price action, because Blast price action was bad. They decided to bridge to Solana, but then they effectively rushed it, and they didn't do a strong enough launch plan. And then a negative loop began when prices started to fall.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we even said it, like
we called it.
I thought the Solana could go out okay, but they had to have
no chance
a plan.
Yeah,
they just didn't. Clearly, this didn't have a plan. They They launched like the weird campaign where it was an army against like they tried to make it like a political army thing against one of the French candidates. I forget the details.
What?
Behind that.
What?
Where you could like earn points by, you know, making army related posts on this specific topic. It didn't really go anywhere.
French candidate? Really?
I'll have to go back and look at the details.
What? Okay. I hadn't heard of that. Man, it's a painful chart to watch.
I think it's over now.
I was super fan. I was a fan. I never owned any Pacmoon, but I was always like a fan of them because I liked like how they were running, moving on Blast. Look, I said the same thing to OSF in the back, and he kept believing till the end. So I'm assuming a lot of people were like this, but like the move to Solana was just terrible mistake. Like I think I talked to Lamboland on the timeline about this. Say, hey, why do you like being a bigger fish in a bigger pond? Like my mom had this one fun saying when I was growing up. Always, let me see if I can translate it to English. But how it says like, be a big fish in a small pond. Would you rather be a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond? And very often, like people should realize that being a big fish in a small pond is better, right? Yeah. And you can achieve more. And like we moved to Solana, which was already that was peak Solana fun, like pump. Now we're back, right? But it was like peak Solana fun, like meme coins being created every day, too many coins, everything's rugging. You're moving in the worst time ever for Solana, right? It's almost like the Pico top of Solana. They're moving into this thing and they're leaving Blast, but like the problem is not Blast. Like, and I'm not a fan of Blast, right? We talk about it all the time. None of us are big Blast guys either. Like we don't do anything on them besides Fantasy Top. But look at Fantasy Top. Fantasy Top is thriving. Yeah. Fantasy Top is doing. They flipped positive, cash flow positive for a second, right? Like they are killing it. They don't care about the fucking chain they're building on, dude. Like I think a lot of people don't realize. Like, and I'll say this: a founder who's like building on L2, and you know, obviously we get every L1 and L2 like messages us to talk about Marriott and where we're going to next. And you guys are about to see some crazy shit. Now I can focus on that again after the Trump and stuff and everything. But like, it's not about the L1 or L2. It's about the team actually building the fucking thing. And a lot of people think that it's about the inherent L1, L2, but it's not, right? Like it's you know, you could it's just, I don't know. I think it should have stayed on Blast. They should have stayed a big fish in a small pond. They should have gone to token 40, 20, 49, been part of the events with Blast, you know, like from a thing standpoint, because people on Solana didn't care about Pacmoon. People that were using Pacmoon cared about the Ethereum ecosystem on top of that. So on top of this, they moved from EVM to an alt L1, right? So it's not that they went from like Blast to, I don't know, dude, Arbitrum or any other one. They
totally left the ecosystem. Yeah. And then perhaps even worse is like they basically bottom ticked Blast. Blast is up 25%.
Is it? And Ethereum's about, it seems, I mean, Mando's pretty convinced about it, and I agree with him. Like, Ethereum's looks pretty good, man. You know? So anyways, you know, not to double down on that, but look, it is right. They definitely tried, like, you know, Lamboland and you know, and fuck, I forgot his name.
Bobby Big Yield.
Big Yield. I'm sorry about that. Sorry, it's Monday morning, but you know, they tried, but it's that's too bad. Well, anyways, so Tyler, sorry, let's get into our last segment. Oh, it was to support the founder of Telegram, Pavel Durov. It wasn't like I just got a message.
Yeah, that's what it was.
For to support Pavel Durov doing the thing as well. So look, like that's not a bad stunt, but like, you know, it's just too bad. And we'll see where the community takes it next. You never know. You absolutely never know. Anyways, let's get into our last segment here, the Arbitrum weekly update. We had a great Arbitrum event last week. Shout out to our for sponsoring our event, co-sponsoring our event last week in Singapore, as well as the Izuki one. It's funny, they were both in the same location. I didn't realize that Izuki had an event in the same location as us the day before at Coma, Singapore. I only got some positive feedback from the Marriott Tides event that they co-sponsored. Absolutely love to see that. So I do want to say a big thank you to them for that and for supporting the ecosystem. But Tyler, what's new in that ecosystem this week?
Yeah, we got some big news across institutions, NFTs, and games in the Arbitrum ecosystem. So I'm going to start the institutions. So Franklin Templeton launched their Benji platform on Arbitrum. So if you're not familiar with Benji, it is their real-world assets treasuries platform. This enables tokenization and servicing of mutual funds on blockchains. So like when we think about the future of tokenization, real world assets. I mean, this is right in that bullseye. It's a big deal. They launched their first digital asset security. It's the Franklin On-Chain U.S. Government Money Fund. It goes by FOBXX. Kind of a long name. And then one share of this mutual fund is represented by one Benji token. So that's what it is. The news here, it's live on Arbitrum. Previously, it was just on Polygon and Stellar.
Yeah.
Guess what? It only reached about $2 million in market cap on Polygon, over 17 million.
Oh, God.
Cap on Arbitrum. So it's already right out of the gate. It's seeing quite a bit more action here from Arbitrum. So that's the big news out institutions and real world assets. In the NFT side, so Stylus, we talked about Stylus quite a bit. This was their change to make a more interoperable code-based platform. It would bring languages like Rust onto Ethereum. Rust, known from the Solana as a developer programming language in the Solana ecosystem, now available on Arbitrum. As a part of it, they did a commemorative NFT launch. They've already seen 800,000 mints on this. The NFT is called Infinite Rainbows. It's by Jimena Buenavida. It's a free mint, generative art, rhythmic motion piece. The mint is open through October 6th, and then you can redeem for physicals. So if you burn the NFT, you have through November 4th to burn it, and then you'll get the actual physical piece. So clearly there's been a ton of demand on this.
I gotta get that. I like him, man. I remember her from Clubhouse and stuff. She's been around. She's hustling. Jesus.
Yeah, and the piece is cool. The physical's cool, and the digital, the NFT is as well. And I mean, it's free, so you can't go wrong. There's no gas. There's no gas in Arbitrum.
We are. Come on, it's good for the soul, everyone.
It is. We need those bright colors.
We do.
Especially as some of us head into winter here.
Yeah, you and I both, huh? Well, Mando's gonna fucking. Jesus Christ. Anyways.
And then a shout out on a couple games headlines. So King of Destiny hit 1 million downloads. That's a big number there in their Web3 gaming space on Arbitrum. And then you mentioned Sobe Zai. They've got this other game, Riftstorm, is coming to Zai as an exclusive flagship title. So the game ecosystem on Arbitrum continues to cook as well. So there we have it. NFTs, games, and institutions.
I mean, they've got Dookie Dash, the whole thing. Everything's not Dookie Dash, but Ape Chain by default, right? And everything. Like they're on a tear. Jesus.
They're
on a tear. They're on a tear. And then you had more news also. New features on Sanko as well. Dude, I am seeing Sanko all over my timeline all the time. Like actually all the time. These people are all over my timeline. So, wow. A lot of positive updates on the Arbitrum side. Anyways, fam. Well, that's a wrap for today's show, and we'll see y'all tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, for another episode of FOMO Hour on Rug Radio. Let's